Christian Horner's bold statement about Red Bull's driver situation has everyone talking. It raises big questions about Sergio Perez's future with the team. Is he at risk of losing his seat? With strong competition from Ferrari and McLaren, the pressure is on for Red Bull to perform. Daniel Ricciardo's recent Instagram post, sporting a hat that reads "I'm retired," has fans wondering if his time in Formula One is truly over. In the post, Ricciardo humorously writes, "Having a good time is my job," hinting that he might be stepping away from the fast-paced world of racing, at least in Formula One. However, whether he retires from racing altogether is still up for debate. Many fans hope to see Ricciardo race in other series, but his future remains uncertain. One thing is clear: Ricciardo's F1 journey appears to be coming to an end. It's a decision that's been quietly on the cards for a while, with Red Bull seemingly deciding his fate even before the season began. Unfortunately, it wasn't clear to the public or even to some involved until very recently. On a positive note, fans are excited to see Mick Schumacher and Sebastian Vettel team up again for this year's Race of Champions. Schumacher's touching comment, "What my dad was for Sebastian, Sebastian is for me," highlights their close bond. Some fans even speculate this could hint at a future Audi lineup in 2026, though nothing is confirmed yet. Moreover, Ferrari has some upgrades planned for upcoming races. While there's talk of a new front wing in Austin and further adjustments in Mexico, insiders like Tessa are skeptical, expecting mostly load adjustments rather than major changes. Similarly, Mercedes has its own upgrades in mind, with Lewis Hamilton hoping for a better outcome than last year when he was disqualified in Austin due to floor wear issues. Max Verstappen's dominance remains a focal point, but Jenson Button suggests McLaren might consider prioritizing Lando Norris for a stronger championship push. Meanwhile, Red Bull faces mounting pressure in the Constructors' Championship, with many questioning Sergio Perez's continued position in the team despite his backing from major Mexican sponsors like Carlos Slim. This ongoing debate has left Christian Horner balancing financial support with the need for stronger performance. Perez's performance in Baku and beyond. Earlier in the season, Sergio Perez showed promise, especially in Baku, where he has historically performed well and even outperformed Verstappen. However, his race was tarnished by mistakes, including a late crash that cost him points. Despite this, his best weekend in Baku still fell short of expectations. In contrast, other teams like McLaren with Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri have had both drivers performing strongly. Although Piastri may take points from Norris, he's still close enough to support his teammate, something Perez has rarely done for Verstappen, except in moments like Baku. Christian Horner has admitted Red Bull's growing frustration, saying, "We desperately need answers," signaling the team's concern over their driver lineup. With Ferrari's Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz looking strong for next season, and McLaren's pairing of Norris and Piastri appearing formidable, Red Bull must reconsider its strategy. As the season has unfolded, many have questioned Red Bull's decision to keep Perez in the team. Red Bull made their bed, and now they have to lie in it. The team had multiple opportunities to replace Perez, both before and during the season, but they chose to stick with him. And it's not just Perez underperforming, it's also Red Bull not listening to his concerns. Perez himself has spoken out about the issues he's faced with the car, claiming that Red Bull didn't take his feedback seriously. Moreover, Perez himself complained about problems with the car, but Red Bull ignored him because Max was doing well. In recent rounds, even Verstappen has struggled with the car, leading to frustration within the team. Max has realized that the car isn't great, and now Perez is saying, "I told you so." Mistakes on both sides. Perez versus Verstappen. The gap between the two drivers has been widening, and this season could be a turning point in Red Bull's long-term strategy. There's no denying that mistakes have been made on both sides. Perez's underperformance and Red Bull's possible miscalculations regarding car setups. Christian Horner acknowledges that they cannot afford to have a big gap between the drivers next year because it's going to cost them in the championships. This is not just a short-term concern, it impacts Red Bull's future earnings sponsorships and competitiveness. Sure, Red Bull may finish second or third in the Constructors' Championship this year, but it is becoming increasingly clear that Perez's current performance will not be sustainable in the long term. Even with his sponsorship backing, Red Bull can't rely on this forever. To better understand the situation, let's look at the numbers. The first season they were teammates, in 2021, Max Verstappen finished the year with 395.5 points, while Perez ended up fourth with 190 points, less than 50% of Max's total. Despite Perez playing a solid supporting role that season, it's evident that there was already a significant gap. In 2022, Verstappen won the championship with 454 points, while Perez finished third with 305 points, only 150 points behind Max. Although this gap was smaller compared to 2021, it still highlighted a clear difference in performance between the two. Perez's performance was commendable, but fell short when compared to Max's championship-winning form. However, the real concern arises in 2023. Verstappen amassed a staggering 575 points, while Perez was nearly 300 points behind by the season's end. This is where the gap becomes alarming for Red Bull. Perez fought tooth and nail with Lewis Hamilton for second place, but ultimately fell short. In a car as competitive as Red Bull's, being this far behind your teammate is not justifiable, especially for a team that has dominated the constructors' standings in recent years. Fast forward to the current 2024 season, and the picture has become even more concerning for Perez. As of now, Max Verstappen leads the championship with 331 points, while Perez is languishing in 8th place with just 144 points. This substantial gap paints a clear picture. Perez has struggled to keep up, as other teams like Mercedes and Ferrari have improved. It's not as though Perez's driving has deteriorated significantly compared to last season. Rather, the Red Bull car is not as dominant as it once was, and Perez's inability to adapt to the evolving competition is becoming more apparent. This highlights the core issue. When the car isn't as superior as before, Perez's weaknesses are exposed. Can Perez keep his seat? Christian Horner's concerns about the driver gap are justified. With the numbers revealing a consistent disparity between Verstappen and Perez, Red Bull must ask themselves if they can continue with this lineup in the future. Horner has made it clear that Perez cannot do it, and it's not just a one-off occurrence. There are now several seasons of evidence backing this claim. The question then becomes, who can match Verstappen? Red Bull's car is typically designed around Max's driving style, which features an aggressive front-end setup that most drivers struggle to handle. Perez, in contrast, prefers a more stable rear end, making it difficult for him to match Verstappen's pace on most circuits. While there may be other drivers who could potentially match Max's performance, such as Charles Leclerc, whose driving style is more aligned with Verstappen's, it's unlikely that Red Bull will be able to lure top-tier drivers away from their current teams, at least not immediately. Red Bull has started evaluating other drivers within its roster, particularly Liam Lawson and Yuki Tsunoda. Lawson has impressed in recent outings and is being seriously considered as a potential replacement for Perez. The expectation is that Lawson will outperform Tsunoda in the upcoming races, which could position him as a contender for the second Red Bull seat. Lawson's high school recently congratulated him on achieving his dream of becoming a full-time Red Bull racing driver, which sparked rumors about his future. While he is currently only a lone driver to Red Bull's sister team, the energy drink giant is keenly observing his progress. If Lawson continues to impress, he may well secure the seat. Tsunoda, while still in contention, faces an uphill battle to secure a promotion to the main team. His performances have been inconsistent, and Red Bull may not view him as a strong enough candidate to challenge Verstappen at the front. Another name that has surfaced in discussions is Oscar Piastri. While there have been no concrete rumors, it wouldn't be surprising if Red Bull considers targeting Piastri in the future. With Mark Webber managing Piastri and his close ties to Red Bull, the move could be a natural fit down the line. However, any potential move for Piastri is unlikely to happen before 2025, as McLaren would be reluctant to lose such a promising talent to a direct competitor. At the end of the day, Sergio Perez's future at Red Bull depends on his ability to turn things around quickly. Red Bull has already shown patience, signing him to a contract that extends for the next few years. But if his performances continue to falter, the team may be left with no choice but to make a change. Perez's underwhelming results this season have reignited the conversation about whether he is the right driver to partner Verstappen in the long run. So, what do you think of the bold statements by Horner signaling troubles for Perez's future in Red Bull? Comment below your views and subscribe for more such videos.